Stole your namesake, Dave. Uh, another UK rapper that we're talking about here on the pod. Um,
I am older,
long,
so I had first claim to this name.
yeah. So I hope you're getting some of that money as for stealing this name. But I think this album, we're all alone in this together. Thought it was really. It reminded me a lot of Burner Boy from last year, Twice as Tall, and
Yeah.
that's a great thing to like harken that kind of like vibe, that energy, and just the quality of this. Because I was really impressed with a very long album, but one that still held my attention. I
Hmm.
think the one knock I would say is that it can be a little downbeat. It can be
Hmm.
not too energetic. And talking about Busy Banks, listening to Busy after this album, it was like a real shot of adrenaline. But Dave,
Right.
he gets into it on this, and lyrically, I think he's really strong.
Oh,
What did you think?
well, no question. And it's funny to hear you bring up Burna Boy because the biggest hit of Dave's debut album, Psychodrama for 2019, is Location featuring Burna Boy. How about
There you
that?
go.
And yeah, Dave, we did not talk about Psychodrama. I didn't listen to it right when it came out in early 2019, but that album won the Mercury Prize in England, as well as the Brit Award for Album of the Year. That's the first time that's happened since the Arctic Monkeys debut album.
Wow.
Psychodrama was just rapturously received, and I think for kind of obvious reasons. He's someone who is not afraid to really get down to it lyrically. He will speak on politics. And I remember in Psychodrama, a lot of references to David Cameron, former prime minister. You know, he will get into the politics. He had a song that was a bit of a flashpoint called Black, speaking on race relations, but specifically his experience, personal experience as being black in Britain. And the other side of that, you'd hear him talk about his family and like the immigrant experience from his parents coming over, his brother serving a life sentence. A lot of really impressive stuff, but he also wasn't afraid to make long tracks. Generally, I'm not a fan of long tracks, but he just has like a way with words that it's like, wow, this is actually like really well earned that this song happens to be 8 minutes long just because
Mhm.
like his storytelling ability is just so impressive. And I think to follow that up now with this second album, We're All Alone in This Together, you get that lyricism once again, but he also, I think, brings some more lighter tracks, especially in the beginning of this album, which I think was a really fun juxtaposition. So
Yeah.
I really love this, and I mean people already know this, but like Dave is definitely like a top tier luminary in terms of English rap, and he's got Stormzy on this. I think people would say in terms of super active UK artists right now, it's really Dave and Stormzy at the top in terms of like critical acclaim.
Yeah, and I think it's very clear that those are the two. Every time we've talked about Stormzy, I think we're just kind of blown away, and had the same feeling with this album. And you mentioned that first half. I think those first like three or four songs were all alone for Danks, clashed with Stormzy, and then In the Fire are just like completely undeniable. Those first four really stood out to me. I thought System with WizKid also was
Hmm.
a clear standout to me.
Afro beats.
Um, yeah, and it's also always great to hear James Blake pop up and sing a verse or sing the hook, and I really enjoyed them kind of blending together on both sides of a smile. So those would probably be the ones that stood out most for me. But which tracks were your favorites?
Yeah, so I agree about the early ones. Verdance really stood out to me. Of course, that's a reference to Call of Duty Warzone. I just love the wordplay on that. Man, try
Yeah.
beef with my doggy, Warzone ting, how I come third party. Like, just hilarious Call of Duty line. And that song's just hot as hell. And then later, the next track, you get Clash with Stormzy, one of the
Mhm.
singles. And that's just, again, we know what Dave and Stormzy can bring lyrically in terms of like really important subject matter. But to hear them actually just make a song that's like a fun rap song is also just really, really fun, you know?
Mhm.
And still, you still got Dave saying, Tory put in labor, this, that Jeremy Corbyn one. Like there's still references to the politics and all, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like the wordplay on that. Rolly's got 21. Been lit since 21. Lighty, the shortest one on my mind. Georgia one, of course, the reference to Georgia Smith, who we do
Hmm.
agree is a beautiful woman. Uh,
Beautiful.
yeah, those songs are just hot as fuck.
Yeah, man. It's and the thing is, though this is a long album, I don't know if there's ever a point where I was like, okay, I gotta tune this out. Like the production on this is top notch, and he really just, like you said, can spin a story with his words and just keep your attention. And it, unlike these other albums, I didn't feel like this felt super samey. Other than,
No.
I didn't necessarily always feel like it was like a super energetic track. I think there's more of a
Mm,
mellow vibe at times, but I was okay with that because he just kind of lures you in with his delivery and his wordplay. So
yeah.
really impressive.
Yeah, important to note that when you hear a lot of the piano, oftentimes that is Dave himself. He is a trained piano player, and that was the case on the last album as well. Yeah, you mentioned the song with WizKid System. You also have Lazarus with Boj. I'm not sure how you say that, but those are both Nigerian artists. You get some obviously Afrobeat influences, overt, Afrobeat songs that those are, and of course, a nice connection to Dave's overall message. Of course, his parents are Nigerian immigrants, so yeah, man. I mean, I think it's one of the best rap albums of the year, without doubt.
Sound the sirens. Dave's putting out a best rap album of the year claim on this. We might have to do a little like update in the near future of what are the albums and the tracks that have stood out most to us so far. It doesn't have to be
Mm.
anything formal because we always have our end of year lists. But if you want to know all the tracks we've liked, again, Nostalgia, best of 2021 on Spotify. We already have a couple of these tracks up there, so check it out. Any last thoughts on Dave? Dave.
Yeah, I also just want to shout out "In the Fire," which has some ghost uh, features on that, and it's like really a who's who of UK rap. Gets gigs, Fredo and Meeks, as well as Dave. Saw a big reaction to that from UK rap fans because of the surprise. Normally, I'm not a fan of like hiding the features and stuff, but I think it was actually pretty effective for people listening to this for the first time.